Welcome to Aaron Explains, the show where my friend Aaron explains something to me, and today we're back talking about PLUR1BUS. This was episode 7.
Episode 7.
I think this is the episode that really defined, if you are not into character shows, purely into mystery box shows, this episode I think would have left you really bored.
Yes, except it didn't leave us really bored.
No.
And I also, I'm obsessed with how it's shot. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and I recognize that some of the scenery is not in the places where it
well, all of the New Mexico
to be.
All the New Mexico stuff is the New Mexico stuff. It's the international stuff.
Yeah, and I think that part of having it travel has allowed us to sort of establish certain interesting things about the way the world is now. And one of those has to do, Carol at the gas station, she calls the hive mind and says, I need pump number 1 turned on.
Right.
Then it was turned on immediately, which suggests that she is living essentially in a panopticon.
Right.
You know, and for those who don't know what a panopticon is a style of prison. It's circular, and the guard is in the middle, and the different cells are kind of on the external area of the circumference of the circle. Now,
there's no way to hide. Everybody can see everybody else.
Everyone can see everybody else, and most importantly, the guard can see everyone.
Right.
But the people cannot tell when the guard is there and when the guard is not.
Right.
So a panopticon is a space where you are behaving a particular way, whether you are observed or not. And famously, Michel Foucault talked about how, you know, as we live in the modern world, we function in a panopticon as if we're in a prison.
Because of all the cameras.
Because of all the cameras. And also just because of the way that society functions, that we are obedient to the rules of society, whether society is watching us or not. And so I kind of felt like it was establishing that if you are one of the remaining 12 people, you are functioning in this panopticon world, and that panopticon is created through the use of extremely high-tech surveillance equipment.
It has to be like a Predator drone or something.
Exactly. Yeah,
and this episode seemed to make it explicit. To Manousos when he's traveling, and he's told by one of the hive mind
to wave.
Yes, was wave through the sky.
Exactly. And so we know that, and we know about like the level of military grade surveillance that the hive mind is using, and then the implications of that. And I also think that and I know that you have some stuff to say about this, about Carol and Carol's engagement with consumer goods, but I think that this episode is really where that is pushed. She starts experimenting with, you know, she can get what she really wants, you know, and getting it in the way that she wants as well.
Well, not always. She didn't get the Gatorade. Wasn't ice cold.
Yes, but she gets to correct them until they get her what she wants.
Right. Yeah, I saw that as being very much in contrast to Mr. Diabete from the previous episode, where I think from Carol's perspective, she sees him just being a really indulgent person.
Yes, absolutely.
Who's just about excess and, hey, look, the world's like mine now, so I can ride on Air Force One. I can have all these women all the time. He's just indulging.
Complete hedonism.
Yes.
Which
I wouldn't dismiss that as part of who he is, but I also see, and this was again in last week's episode, when he was watching her eat the breakfast he'd made for her, she made the sandwich, and then you saw him with great curiosity make the same sandwich and eat it. This is a man who's just interested in experiences, in new and different experiences.
He's curious. He's very curious.
Which is why he's not immediately threatened by the hive, because it is yet another new experience, one he might consider joining. And I felt like this was Carol's version, the best she could do to simulate what she sees Mr. Diabete doing. He's having a good time. It's everything you want on demand. But he's trying to experience new things. Hers was entirely about recreating old experiences from her life.
No, and I also think that it's this kind of like highly commodified lifestyle that she leads and has led, you know, in that the things that she goes out to get an experience, you know, she ends up going to the golf course, getting the fancy car, having the fancy dress, eating the fancy meal,
taking artwork home from the
taking
gallery.
artwork home from Georgia O'Keeffe.
Right.
But I do think that one of the things that's interesting about a lot of the experiences that she's looking for, and again, you know, I'm going to go back to my whole like obsession with the show being about issues of authorship, that, you know, she does seem really interested in things that have been created by individual human beings. Music, you know, she's because of course there's no radio stations anymore, so she's singing the songs or having them played for her in ways that are possible. Mix CD or
the piano player thing,
you know, and she's interested in looking at art and kind of thinking about this idea of, well, this is something created by an individual. I also think the food is the same thing. There are these like very specific foods that were created in specific restaurants. These are like, she's not asking for, you know, a donut from a favorite coffee shop. Right. She's asking for things that came from very specific restaurants, cooked by very specific people. Yeah. It's almost like she's trying to engage with individual human things, human creation.
But they're also very specific meals from very specific dates in her life.
Yes.
And she remembers what each one of them was from.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's certainly the commodity thing, because I mean, we all, if we're living in North America, we're all, or Western Europe really, we're all indulging in that.
Yes.
When we think of our favorite things, it's going out, so it's spending money somewhere to get something. So she's trying to recreate that element of her life.
But then there's sort of like, it's like the limits of commodity culture, and like, not to get like too academic or literary or whatever, it made me think of this, you know, story by James Joyce called Araby, where it's about a young man who's going to the Araby Bazaar in Dublin to find a gift that equals the love he has for his beloved, you know, his girlfriend. And he's going around the bazaar, he's looking, he's trying to find things. It's not this, it can't be this, it can't be this. And then the bazaar closes, and then he says the story ends with this fantastic Joycean language. You know, I saw myself as a creature derided by vanity, and my eyes burned with anguish and anger. This idea that a commodity, like, is just it cannot equal human emotion.
Right.
And
you should have gotten her a coupon.
Yeah, exactly. Every time you have an excitement about buying something, the idea of buying it is the thing, but as soon as you buy it, you know, you want something else. Right. You have this inherent lack that commodity culture is not going to fill. Right. And this is, I think, what is happening with Carol in this situation, is that she's trying to see if she can fill that lack some way.
Right.
And she gets to the point where she thinks that she can't.
Yeah.
You know, and that's when she basically tries to commit suicide.
Or is going to allow it to happen.
She's not going to fight it. Yeah. She's not going to fight it. And when that doesn't happen, then she has to look for the next thing. And I think that one could see the hive mind as being yet another commodity that she's wanting them to come back, because all of these other things that she has engaged with had not given her that what she wants, and so this is the next thing.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I don't think this contradicts anything you said. It's actually like kind of work in conjunction to it, but the way the songs that she sang, which I wrote down as they were going, seemed to me from the beginning were her deeply in denial. She's singing, the very first lyric was "End of the world," and I feel fine. And we cut to the opening titles on that. She clearly doesn't feel fine. No. And then it's "I'm all right," "Born to be wild," "Hot in here," maybe that one's specific to the situation. "Georgia on my mind," when she's going to Georgia O'Keeffe. "I will survive," "You got another thing coming," "Stars and Stripes forever." Like, everything about that seemed to me her, like, you're not bothering me. This doesn't bother me. I'm going to be fine on my own. And it's bullshit. It's clear bullshit, which then kind of got me looking at, within this episode, I think there are 3 characters. There's the Carol storyline and the Manousis storyline. But there is also a 3rd character in this, which is the hive mind, which is a singular character at this point. It has different interfaces, but it is one character. And that character and the hive mind and Manousis, they both want things.
Yes, absolutely.
The hive mind wants to come back and have a relationship with Carol. Manousis wants to save the world. He says that over and over and over in his... This is contrasting to her all these songs she's singing. He's got this mantra he's practicing in English.
Over and over again.
Which seems to have a lot more conviction behind it, behind her stated, I feel fine, which has no conviction behind it. But at the end of the day, they both want things. She needs something. She is vulnerable. She is emotionally vulnerable. She is emotionally needy.
And that's what she needs she can never get. And I think that's where, you know, like the looking towards the commodity becomes this thing that she's doing, because it's illustrating this fact that she can't fill the lack. The lack could be Helen, you know, the lack could be, you know, human connection, but it's this thing that she needs that she's not able to get. And I think that this is a good time to sort of move over to Manousis, who we get, you know, as we expected, we were going to get more information about him. And I think we see him preparing and getting ready to go on this journey. And I think that, you know, we had some comments on the last video that were saying how, you know, we shouldn't be making these comparisons to America, spending too much time talking about Carol's whiteness, talking about colonialism, etc. And I would just like to really just state this. If you're making a TV show where there's one American character, you know, if we're establishing hive mind, Manousis, Carol, in this episode, there's one American character. There's one South American character. The thing that's in between is the Darien Gap. And if you don't know about the Darien, and I took a quick look, I try not to look too much at it at the subreddit, the PLUR1BUS subreddit. There's a lot of people saying that they hadn't heard of the Darien Gap. I'm aware of it. You know, I'd read about it on the news, and then I happened on this YouTube video of a fellow named Bald and Bankrupt, large, very popular YouTuber who travels to a range of different places. And him and another YouTuber traveled through the Darien Gap. I mean, it was incredibly riveting viewing because it was so... you know, I knew cognitively that it was such a difficult trek to make, voyage to make, but it's crazy. It is the level of danger to, you know, life and your physical body, what you have to leave behind. People
not just
die,
belongings, but people your family members as you go
as you're going, and
the desperation needed to have to go on this trek.
And this is something that people are doing every day as a means of going from South America and getting into the United States of America. And I'm really sorry. Like, you can say that none of that matters, but come on.
It seems like it matters to the show.
It seems like it matters to the show. And they've gone to such incredibly great lengths to show how hard that voyage is for people. And even like the detail of the teddy bear that's there, that you know that this is a trek that is characterized by deep suffering, pain, and loss. And we see that with Manousis on that trek. He's depicted as, you know, experiencing that pain quite directly, whether it's through the cactus, attempting to self-cauterize. It's viscerally difficult to watch.
No, it was horrible. Not every person who commented like this, but there was a few comments that both wanted to defend Carol and her reactions to the hive mind as she's facing this alien colonizer, but then got really upset when we want to talk about colonization as a theme. I don't know. I don't think you can have it both ways.
And when Manussos, when he gets to the point where he has to start the trek across the Darien, he speaks to the hive mind and says, "You have stolen."
Yes.
You know, like,
yeah.
There is a strong theme of how colonialism works in this kind of visceral way, you know, of taking people, something about their humanness away.
Right. Hey, oh my God, hey, that conversation is so fantastic. We don't want to cut it short, so we're going to cut it in half. If you come back in a couple days, we're going to do the second half of the conversation.
Exactly.
So make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any of this fantastic content on PLUR1BUS. I'm going to cut that last part too.
I think you should keep it all in.
All right,
It's so
we'll make
terrible.
that all work. Yeah, okay.